Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of IPPFA TV. IPPFA TV is an outreach arm of the Illinois Public Pension Fund Association, IPPFA. We're an organization that supports the operation of the individual police and fire municipal pension funds throughout Illinois. Happy to have you here today for this module on public employee deferred compensation. Public employee deferred compensation is a spectacular opportunity for individuals to fill out the personal savings leg of their retirement income plan. So we'll get right to work. What is deferred compensation? It's kind of what it sounds like. It's a deferral of wages until retirement. You don't take them at the time they're earned, you take them later in life. During that deferral period, wages are invested as directed by the employee. No income tax is assessed on the deferrals or on earnings during your working years and maybe even some years afterwards. Income tax is paid on money as if withdrawn in retirement. And in Illinois and some other states, there is no state tax when that money is withdrawn. The compound earnings during this period add great value to the savings plan. I would note that Roth plans are available generally and they operate a little differently. We will key on that when we get to the description of them. On slide number 2, we see the advantage of these compound interest earnings, investment earnings. For an example, I had a person saving $400 a month in deferred compensation up to age 60. During this time and afterwards, the individual is earning 6% on their investments. So we feel this is a fairly conservative example. And they can withdraw the following amounts of money between ages 65 and 85. If they begin saving at 35 years old, they'll contribute a little under $125,000, withdraw $330,000. If they move that up to age 30, start a little earlier, they'll contribute a little more, $149,000 roughly, and draw over $477,000. If they begin saving at 25, they'll contribute a little more, $182,800, but withdraw $670,500. This is the magic of compound earnings. These deferred compensation plans are allowable under federal law, various sections. Section 401K governs private companies. Section 403B covers educational, healthcare, and charitable organizations. And Section 457 is for state and local employees, such as Illinois, fire and police, City of Denver, State of Missouri, Pleasant View Fire Protection District. These types of organizations are all covered under Section 457. Slide 3 shows the very popular administrators of these plans. Of course, there's the IPPFA benefits, our own benefits arm, well-regarded deferred compensation administrator. Mission Square, formerly ICMA, is popular in Illinois. Nationwide Retirement Solutions is also popular in Illinois. They also have the City of Chicago groups. Those three are really kind of the big three if you want to use an automotive industry example. But there are others, Voya, Empower, etc., that administer these plans. Slide number 4 talks about how we put money into these plans. There's some limits. It's limited to 25% of pay, up to $23,500 in 2025. This is an amount that's indexed for inflation. It was lower in the past. It'll be higher in the future. There's some catch-up provisions where you can put more money into these plans. The traditional catch-up has within 3 years of retirement, an additional $23,500 is allowed to make up for any prior year when the maximum wasn't used. There's also an age-related catch-up. At age 50, an additional $7,500 a year is allowed. That's also indexed for inflation and should be higher in the future. In the most recent Retirement Act, Secured 2.0 out of the federal government, They added an additional catch-up, ages 60 to 63. Check with your deferred compensation plan if you're interested in that catch-up. I do note that for the fire and police group, by age 60 to 63, more employees than not are already out of active service. So that won't be as meaningful or attractive as a catch-up as the other groups. Just an IPPFA note, large additional amounts placed in deferred comp at the end of a career through these catch-up provisions, they're nice. They don't necessarily add up to a lot more in savings. It's better to put in small amounts earlier in your working life if you can afford to do so and get the benefit of the compound interest. Slide number 5 touches on traditional or Roth options. In a traditional deferred comp plan, the money is not taxed at the time it's earned and deposited into the plan. So if you have $100 taken out of your paycheck, you might see your net pay go only down by about $70 depending on state taxes. You'll pay federal tax on all that money when it's withdrawn in retirement. In the Roth approach, there's no tax break given at the time your salary is earned and deposited in the fund. So if you have a $100 deposit taken out of your pay, your paycheck goes down by $100. However, the money and investment earnings are all drawn out at retirement, tax-free. So traditional or Roth, which is better? If both options are available to you, only you can decide what option to use. Many financial experts think that the Roth is better, especially for younger employees. But if you can avoid state taxes going in and also want to take available advantage of in the future, an allowable tax break for charitable contributions, the traditional approach might be better. It's worth spending some time on this, maybe talking to an expert, doing your own research. But whatever you do, don't delay. Don't use this as a reason to delay if you're not in deferred compensation. Get in either variant. You can always change your mind later on if you want to switch. Slide number 6 introduces us to the concept of how this money is going to be invested. It's almost any way you'd like. Stock market, fixed income, balanced accounts. I have guaranteed return there on the slide in quotes. A fixed return investment is usually available. Not guaranteed in the sense that the federal government's going to guarantee it like a bank deposit, but a guaranteed rate of return. The plan administrators we discussed use public mutual funds, private investment funds as investment alternatives. Generally, younger and mid-career persons can be more aggressive in investing. Some good news, investments in a Section 457 plan work perfectly well with advice from financial planners and published information. So if you have your own financial planner or you do your own research with Kiplinger or Money Magazine, or the type of plan you put together for retirement savings will work perfectly well in a Section 457 plan. Slide number 7 shows us some investment returns. This is a traditional type of exhibit that's often used to show the returns over time, starting before the Great Depression to the most current year available. It's got small company stocks at the very high 11.8% annual return. Large company stocks just behind that at 10.3%. And then fixed income investments, bond type investments using U.S. government bonds as a proxy, drop off quite a bit to 5.1%. And cash equivalents using 30-day Treasury bills at 3.3%. So what do you do with this kind of information? Well, how do you turn it into an investment plan? Again, you'll use your own research, your own potential expert. Some things to consider about, of course, is your age. There's a concept that you should possibly have your age in safe investments, the U.S. government bond or the guaranteed or fixed income type investment, and then the balance in the stock market. So a 30-year-old with 30% of his investments in safe investments has 70% potentially in the stock market or aggressive investments. You move to age 60, you'll have 60% of your investments in a safe space and 40% more aggressive. Public employees generally, I think, are more aggressive than this type of formula. One of the advantages of being a public employee, more so than a lot of private retirement schemes these days, is you've got that guaranteed pension amount coming in. When you have a guaranteed amount coming like that, you can be more aggressive in your personal investing. Another concept to consider, something called the rule of 72. If you take an earnings rate, an expected earnings rate, and divide it into the number 72, the product of that division is the number of years it will take invested money to double in value. Right? So to make it easy on myself, if I can earn 7.2% on my investments, I divide that into 72, I come up with 10 years. At 7.2% money, invested money will double every 10 years. $1,000 becomes $2,000. 4,000, 8,000, 16,000, etc. It's a phenomenal compound earnings concept, and if you didn't notice from my example, it's the last doubling that counts. That's where you get a real firepower out of your invested money. Final concept to think about, a new tool in the toolbox, the target date fund, the horizon fund, almost all the investment. The 457 plan administrators have these funds. You pick a period of time, a date in the future where you feel you're going to retire, and the investment manager puts a mix together based on that projection. Aggressive investing, safe investing. In the beginning of your career, you're a long way from that. The mix will be more aggressive. When you move towards the back end, it'll be more conservative to protect the money that you have earned. So these are all great concepts that help you put together your investment plan. Slide number 8 touches on the issue of rebalancing. Every financial professional emphasizes rebalancing. Routinely, maybe annually, return your portfolio to the desired percent in each asset class. For example, if you want to be in 40% stock, 10% foreign stock, and 50% fixed income, you adjust the portfolio back to that allocation at some time each year, quarter, etc. When you rebalance, you will usually buy low and sell high. If stocks have done very well, you'll sell some off at a high value. Good news, those target date funds and horizon funds, and often the balanced funds in these portfolios, they automatically rebalance. The user doesn't have to do anything about it. If you're not in one of these funds, just don't let it ride. Pay some attention to rebalancing. So once you've accumulated all this money, let's take a look at the rules for withdrawal. This is retirement money. It's for retirement. It can only be withdrawn before retirement, either due to separation from employment, all right, or an unforeseen financial emergency. And an unforeseen financial emergency under the Section 457 code is very difficult to prove up. So you put this money in for retirement, plan on keeping it there for retirement. In Section 457, there is no magic to the age 59 and a half. You'll hear in IRAs or 401ks, if you take the money out before 59 and a half, you have a 10% penalty. No such penalty exists in an IRA. But if you do roll the money over to an IRA, you will pick up that age 59 and a half. Let's talk quickly about rolling the money over or keeping your money in your Section 457 plan. When you separate from service, you can keep the money in the employer-based Section 457 deferred comp plan, or you can roll it over to an IRA. Okay? Which should you do? It's up to you. If you're happy with the plan, the investment returns, the fees, the selection of funds, the advice you've gotten, the service you get from calling the administrator, doesn't seem to be like there'd be any real reason to want to change. So if you're happy, stay where you are. If you're not happy, if you don't like the plan that you were in, then rolling over your money to an IRA may be something that you may want to consider. If you want to have all your investments in one place, you may want to consider that. There might be reasons why an individual would roll their money over. We find that most people are happy with their plan to stay with where their plan is. If you're going to, eventually for withdrawal, we'll look to slide 11. How's this money going to come out? Well, it can all be taken out at once, but that's a bad idea because you pay all the tax at once, all right? You can take intermittent withdrawals up until age 73. I'll get to age 73 in a second, all right? You can take out a monthly or other payment for a fixed period amount of withdrawal, $500 a month, $2,000 a quarter, or whatever to supplement your retirement. But at age 73, you must meet what's called required minimum distributions if you're in the traditional type of deferred comp plan, not the Roth plan. The IRS sets a minimum amount which you must withdraw each year. And just as an anecdote, we're very surprised here at IPPFA about the number of people that wait till age 73 to take any money out of their deferred comp plan. When these plans were first put in the late 70s, early 80s, we thought, oh great, there's no 59.5 magic, there's no 10% penalty. Fire and police officers often retire, appropriately so, due to the stresses of those jobs before office workers do. So they'll need the money earlier. But we find that they don't want to take the money. They don't want to pay the tax on it. They want to wait till age 73 and a half, and a lot of them are doing that. Final concept, an annuity is an option. You can get a guaranteed payment for life. Most public employees don't take that option, but it is there. Let's talk about savings rates. Public employees use these plans at a high rate to supplement their income. This is a really, really good news, all right? Police and fire participation tends to be the highest. That's anecdotally observed by our friends at IPPFA Benefits, and research that we've done to the extent that can be done has proven that to be true. After them, the general, municipal, county, state group employees are right behind fire and police. Not as high a percentage of fire and police, but still a very high savings rate. Paradoxically, public school teachers, who are often in 403B plans, sometimes 457 plans, do not appear to participate at the rate achieved by other public employee groups. And we proved this out once on a study involving Freedom of Information Act requests to various agencies for their deferred compensation reports. And we'd like to see the public school group up higher, at least to the general municipality group, maybe even as higher as fire and police. I think this underscores a concept we see. Police and fire look out for each other. And they look out for each other on the fire ground or the emergency 911 response, and they look out for each other in the station, getting the youngsters to sign up quickly for deferred compensation plan. Congratulations to that group, and please keep that up. Let me get close to closing with an example of an individual I'll call Todd, which shows the power of these plans. Todd was in a 457 plan from 1979 to 1990, okay? And then he left for private business. Put $33,000 in the plan during that time and kept it in the plan, never added another dollar because he was off at a private employer, right? Turned 73 in 2025. He invested along the way, kind of using those age guidelines, his age in safe investments, the rest in stock market. So talk about volatility. You saw the 87 crash, the go-go 90s, a minor crash in 02, a crazy crash in 08, and then a major bull market afterwards. About today, he's a little more than $600,000 in that plan from having put $33,000 in, basically back in the 1980s. And if he takes out RMDs, required minimum distributions, and earns 5% on investments, he will either draw out or leave to his estate approximately $1 million. $1 million from $33,000. Now, I know it's a long period of time. A lot of investment return in that time. That's not going to be a situation that is necessarily duplicated, But if you get half of that, you're in a good space. So to wrap up, the Section 457 plans have been popular, especially popular in the fire and police community. Where else can you invest on a tax advantage basis in a broadly diversified portfolio for as little as $20 deposit out of your first paycheck or a $50 deposit? It can't be done, but it can be done in public employee deferred compensation. So sign up for these plans, consider increasing your deposit if you can, encourage the youngsters on the job to sign up for these plans. Remember Todd, maybe you make yourself a millionaire. Slide number 13 just has some reference information for additional information from our NPPFA benefits group for public employees. There's Joel Babbitt's email and phone number. For public school educators, there's Debbie's email and phone number. So reach out to them, whether you're a client or not, for additional information on deferred compensation. In closing, I'd like to thank you again for your time today, your support of the Illinois Public Pension Fund Association, and your dedicated career to public service. Thank you.